In silence, in black and white, two brothers crossed a boundary and paid the price. The film opens in a harsh black and white, a quiet household, and a thick silence. Two brothers, David and Mark, move through the same space, careful, restrained, already carrying something unspoken. Watching them is their grandmother. She doesn't interrupt, she doesn't question, she simply observes. And from very first moments, the audience understands nothing happens in this house without her noticing. The settling is deeply claustrophobic. Few rooms, tight framing, narrow hallways. The grandmother represents order and tradition, daily routine, fixed rules, unquestioned authority. Set in 1980s, her presence anchors the film in a conservative, rigid moral world. The boys respect her, but they also fears her. She is a living boundary they must not cross. David and Mark are close, emotionally inseparable. They share private jokes, long silences, a bond intensified by isolation. The absence of open parental warmth make their connection stronger, too strong. The camera often frames the brothers together while the grandmother appears in background, out of focus but always there. She senses a change before anything is visible. And adolescence arrives, the brothers begin quiet self discovery. And the film handled this delicately. No explanation, just confusion, curiosity, and closeness. Moments stress uncomfortably long. Touches lingers, and the line between brotherhood and something else begins to blur. Cut to the grandmother watching them eat, noticing avoided eye contact, nervous moments, sudden silences. She doesn't accuse us. Her awareness alone is terrifying. And a private moment between brother crosses an invisible boundary, and the film shows the reactions, not actions. Shock, stillness, and immediate regret. And from this moment on, everything changes. What makes the scene devastating isn't what happens, but what can't be undone. And above all, it all hangs one fear: what if she knows? After the boundary is crossed, the grandmother's role intensifies. Her presence becomes heavier. A long stare, a pause before speaking, and a look that suggests suspicious. She becomes a moral weight of the house, embedding social rules, generational judgment, and end of childhood safety. Even when she is silent, her gaze feels authority. The boy begins to fracture under that pressure. Mark pulls away, ashamed, frightened, desperate to restore normalcy. David clings to the bond, confused, guilt, terrified of losing everything. And there is no longer united by the secrecy, and they are divided by it. Grandmother watches the distance grow. Her disappointment is never spoken, but it felt. The emotional distance widens. Where they once moved together, now they hesitate. Where they once spoke freely, now they choose silence. Mark begins to seek separation, not physically yet, but emotionally. David senses this and becomes desperate, clinging to what they once had. And the film shows how guilt and love can coexist, tearing the people apart. A crucial moment occurs where the grandmother stands physically between the brothers in the frame. This visual says everything: the old world versus the new, orders versus shocks, authority versus confusion. She doesn't need to comfort them directly. Her existence alone reminds them that the world has no longer space for what happened. And the film closes quietly. Mark emotionally detached, possibly prepared to leave childhood behind, and David is left isolated, carrying the weight full of guilt. And the grandmother continues her routine, unchanged and unmoved. And the secret remains unspoken, but the innocence is gone. The final shot, the grandmother's faces, calm, unreadable. She may never say a word, but the damage is already done. Fade to the black. And the film treats a taboo subject without a shock value. It focuses on emotional consequences, not act. Black and white removes distraction, focusing the viewers to comfort the discomfort. And it shows how boundaries one cross can never fully be repaired. And this is not a film about desire, it's a film about what a silence does to love. And the grandmother in the film represents moral law without cruelty. She creates tension without confrontation. She makes the audience feel the risk of discovery. And she turns the silence into threat. While the boys embody emotional shocks, the grandmother embodies the rugged the world they are breaking. Here, there are some secrets they don't need to be discovered. They destroy you simply by being seen. And that's all about this film's review. And if you do love our reviews, please do like, share, and subscribe. And for the more movie details, please check out the video description. Until then, bye.